In the month of January, I posted a video every single day and I went from 4,400 followers to 11,500 followers, and I was able to reach 330,000 people. And I did this without running ads or boosting my posts in any way. Today is the 13th of February and I'm currently at 16,700 followers. We're growing. In the year 2023, I wanted to be consistent with content creation on Instagram, and I created a 6-step strategy to help me do that. The first part of this strategy is ideating. How did I come up with ideas? I had a specific system for doing this, so it wasn't just random. And I learned this from Alex Hormozi. He uses Twitter to store his ideas. Before I learned this, I was actually storing my ideas in the Google Docs, but now I use Twitter. Let me explain. Whenever I get an idea in the day at any point, I just run to Twitter and craft the idea in a way that makes sense, basically, and send out the tweet. Even if you have 0 followers on Twitter, it still works. Whenever you have an idea, just tweet it out immediately. But if you have some followers on Twitter, it actually helps you to know the kind of tweets that are performing. So if you have like 1,000 or 10,000 followers on Twitter, when you tweet something and you see that 100 people like this thing, then you know that when you make content out of it, people will definitely be able to relate. Every day, every week, whenever I have ideas, I just punch them in, and then at the end of the month, I will go back and pack all those contents into a Google Doc. Now, this saves me the stress of trying to think of ideas, right? In a space of a month, if I'm randomly doing it, even if I do 1 tweet a day, that is already 30 content in a month. Now, imagine tweeting 2, 3, 5, 7, 10 times in a day. And that's the thing about Twitter. You could tweet as much as possible. It's like the easiest kind of content to make. Let's say I wake up early one day and I realize that I have a lot of clarity, I could think well, and I just tweet. Waking up early is really cool because you can really think clearly, and that's a tweet. I just make that as a tweet, right? At the end of the month, when I'm piling up my ideas, I could take that part. Waking up early can actually give you clarity, and it will be one of the items in my ideas. The second step in my strategy is scripting. Now, at the end of the month, when I've piled up all these ideas, I have to spend like a day or so scripting the entire thing. So I sit down for a while and start expanding on these ideas into full-on scripts. I've been writing scripts for short content for a while, so I know precisely what to do, right? I know how I speak. So I just write that into a script. For each of those ideas, since I was posting once every day, I would take the first topic, write a script about it, take the second one until I'm done with the 30 or 31 for the month. And I don't spend more than a day doing this, like just 4, 5, 6 hours, you can be done with this entire thing, depending on how fast you write anyway. So when I'm done with that, I basically have 30 Instagram videos waiting for me, ready to be shot, right? They are concepts that I've thought about, I've proofread the script, I have expanded on it, so I know that these are just ready to go. I just need to record them. So that brings us to the third part of the strategy, shooting. Now, the way I schedule my shoots, I shoot just once in a week on Mondays. So depending on how busy you are, you could schedule it however you like. But for me, on Mondays, I shoot a lot of videos. Since I already have these things listed out, I don't need to come up with an idea on Monday and come up with a different idea on Tuesday. I could just go through my list. Number 1 to 7, we are shooting it today, and I bring out my camera, flip out my mic, bring out my lights, and we just go. And I just deliver the scripts one by one. Yeah, if I have 5 lines or 10 lines of scripts, I just read a sentence and deliver it to the camera. Some people ask me, how am I able to memorize my entire script? I do not memorize my entire script. That would be extremely difficult. I just memorize a sentence and deliver it to the camera, memorize the next sentence, deliver it to the camera. That is my process. The amount of videos you shoot in a day depends on you, right? The highest amount I've done in a day was 18. I've shot a whole 18 videos in one day, and I was very efficient that day. We just got straight to it and just shot it one after the other. And sometimes I shoot 5, sometimes I shoot 7, sometimes I shoot 15. Basically depends on vibes, but not less than 7 most of the time, because it's good to have 7 pieces of content ahead, so you have the entire week scheduled out. For me, because I shoot just once. If you shoot twice in a week, you could shoot 3, you could shoot 4, but I shoot just once, so I want to have at least 7 scheduled out. And then that brings us naturally to the next step, editing. Because if I'm doing this, I would make mistakes from time to time, right? I would like to cut out the mistakes. I would like to cut out some gaps, some weird timings and whatnot. And this happens in editing. Since November, I've not been editing my videos myself. I have an editor working with me, so I just send all this footage to him to help me handle it. And here's my editor right here. He's behind the camera right now. I personally edit with DaVinci Resolve, and my editor uses Adobe Premiere Pro. So he just cuts it up and sends it to me for review. If you're still editing yourself, that is fine. Just pick a very specific time to do it. Depending on how fast you edit, you could spend an entire day, you could spend a couple days, you could spend 3 days, or 4 days editing the entire 30 videos for the month. And that also depends on whether you are posting a video every day. So I chose a schedule that worked for me. I knew 30 videos in a month would definitely work for me if I use the system, right? But if you can afford to do just 3 videos in a week, that is great. 1 video in a week, that is awesome. 4 videos in a week, whatever schedule works for you. The repeatability is the essential part, not doing it for 1 month and then you burn out the next month. I know I have the capacity to do 2 videos a day, 60 videos in a month, but if I do that, some other things will suffer, right? Like, I'm a business person, I have a studio to run, I can't spend all my time creating content. It's not a full-time thing for me, right? So depending on where you are in your stage in content creation, choose whatever works for you. So the 5th step in my strategy is posting, right? You have to find its frequency for posting. Are you posting every single day? Like, are you scheduling your post ahead or whatnot? When my editor is done cutting up the clips, I use Captions app on iOS to add the captions. It's a lot of stress trying to subtitle your videos frame by frame, so the Captions app makes it so easy. I would like to say this video is sponsored by Captions, but it's not. So for me, every single day I'll get the video, add subtitles to it, put it on Instagram, add some captions, maybe some hashtags, and post it. There is a feature on Instagram right now that I've used a couple times, so it depends. If I'm going to be super busy next week, right, I could schedule the entire videos for next week this week. Or if I'm going to be very busy the next day, if I know that, oh, tomorrow I wouldn't have any time to post, I post by 2 p.m. every single day. It's not a rule or anything, I just post at that time. You could post whenever you want, honestly. Or you could go into your insights on Instagram and see when your followers are mostly online. So by 2 p.m. I have an alarm on my phone, it rings and I remember to post. That's basically it. Sometimes I schedule it, sometimes I post on that specific day. So depending on what works for you, for your system, this is what I do. And finally, the last thing is collaborations. I did a couple collaborations in January. In fact, I was going to do as many as possible, right? I had no idea I was going to grow this fast anyways. So I was collaborating with a couple guys, some friends of mine, some people that were not friends, but I met them on the internet, some people that reached out to me. So far, we could have common ground in our content, where your content somehow overlaps with my content. Our audiences are similar. And when we make content, each of our audiences could understand what we are trying to pass across, and we could give value to them. Then we're good fits for collaborations. So I think I collaborated with 4 or 5 people in January, and yeah, they were great, right? I met some really cool people from doing that, built some relationships from that. So collaborations are great because you are tapping into someone else's audience and they are tapping into your audience. So if there are like 1,000 people in their audience that doesn't know you from anywhere, right, they have never seen you before, when you make a collaboration and that 1,000 people see you, they'll be like, huh, this guy is nice, we should probably follow him or something. So yeah, that's it, guys. I had no idea that I would grow this fast. I thought I would probably be at 7 or 8k right now, but I'm almost at 17,000. That's crazy. And one of the reasons why that happened is because one of my videos really blew up. I got over 350,000 views on that one video, even though it took a while to get 350,000. But it hit 350k, and that's crazy. So that might not happen to you. I did not expect it to happen to me. It just happened to be good enough content. And the crazy thing is, I didn't spend any time on this content. It wasn't special in any way. It was one of the ideas I came up with. It was one of the scripts I wrote, and I shot it in like 2-3 minutes. So I don't think it was inherently different from the rest. The key is to just keep the system going. If you can figure out a way to keep pumping out content, just keep the system going. Stop thinking about how does this affect my followership, how does this affect the amount of views I'm getting. If you can find a way to just keep the system going, no matter what, if you are succeeding or if it's not working, just keep the system going. Keep posting, keep sharing, and at some point the algorithm will connect you to your audience, and when they find you, you start getting comments like, hey, where have you been all my life, I've been looking for your content. And the more content you have, the better it is. If someone lands on your page and they see 12 videos, they might not really take it that seriously, but if they see 60 videos, 40 videos, you've been posting for 2-3 months, they believe that you are consistent, right? They can count on you to always deliver value. So guys, that's how I did it. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you actually apply it in your Instagram content creation. I am no expert by any means, I'm just sharing my experience. That's what we do here. Try this out for the next 30 days and see whether it works for you. And until the next video, peace guys.